Hello, Roberta O Dea. Thank you for agreeing to this interview. Roberta is a clinical hypnotherapist in Melbourne, and she's also a master in NLP, and she is a FasterEFT eutaptics practitioner. And so, Roberta, welcome.
Thank you.
What a title. And the reason I've asked you to come here and have a chat with me today is because we were chatting just recently and you mentioned, I kind of asked you, I was intrigued by your background in hypnotherapy, and I was asking you lots of questions about, do you think I should learn a little bit about this and a little bit about that? And I was thrilled when you said it is all in FasterEFT.
Yes.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, FasterEFT uses informal trance, because every time you close your eyes and go to a memory, you go into a trance. When you remember something that happened, you see it, you hear it, you feel it, whichever modalities you use, or all of the above. Sometimes you smell and taste it, but it's all there. So it uses hypnosis, it uses NLP, it uses suggestion. It covers it all, and it does it in a really powerful way.
Well, that was so encouraging to hear from you, because you have such a history and a background in clinical hypnotherapy, working in this area for, I believe, about 20 years.
No, not in hypnotherapy. No, I've worked in community services a long time, over 20, 25 years in community services, but no, in hypnotherapy for 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
So close to 10 now, getting on 9 years. No, I've always known about hypnosis, and I've used it myself, and I found it really useful. But only 9 years, yeah.
9 years.
But FasterEFT really puts what therapy on steroids. So things change much quicker, and people are shocked when they go to a memory and you do a couple of rounds of tapping and they can't find it. It's like, what happened? How did that happen? But particularly sometimes with something that I would have thought back in the day was going to take me a while to actually address. So someone recently, last week, who's got really severe OCD, and we were able to make changes for her in the first session, really quite big changes, to the point where she emailed me to say, I don't know what happened, but this is how I feel now. And so really encouraging changes, yeah.
Therapy on steroids. So how would you describe the effectiveness of FasterEFT? I know it can take one session, it can take a few sessions. How would you describe that kind of magic that does happen, where people just, as you say, they can't bring the problem back?
That's right.
Yeah.
I had a lady here the other day, and she said to me, you're going to think this is really odd. She said, but you know how I used to go here to get this particular, I know how to go here and do this anxiety, But she said, I know it's there somewhere, but I can't find it. And I know that sounds really weird, but she said, I can't find it and I don't know what happened. And I said, well, that's just the way it works. Don't go searching for it. You know, just be happy it's gone. So she felt like she must be a bit strange that she couldn't find it, something that she knew she'd had when she came in.
Yeah.
But that happens a lot, and I love that. I think that's really good. I said, do you want to get it back? And she said, no. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think are those key ingredients? Is it a bit of the hypnotherapy and the NLP and creating rapport with your client? What do you think has to come together for someone to let go of something like anxiety or a phobia?
I think all of the above. I think you have to have rapport. If you're not in rapport, it isn't going to happen. I think that's absolutely crucial. I think you have to be aiming at the problem. If you're aiming at the problem, then there's a good chance you're going to get it. And I think, and then it's just really, you say the metaphor, they go in, and then you do a few rounds, and it changes. It just changes. So it's almost like magic for them and me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. So now, just to go into your background, I was reading on your bio that you personally, I just want to know your personal healing journey, and you wrote there that you gave up smoking and you lost weight with hypnotherapy, and you took part in the hypnotic virtual gastric band.
I did. Yes, I did.
So explain to us how that worked.
Well, I had it installed under hypnosis as I volunteered to be the demonstration model when we learned this particular modality in training in when I was at the Academy of Hypnotic Science. So I volunteered, and it was very effective, and I did reduce my portion sizes, and I did use the recording that she gave me to reinforce it. But, and this is the bit that makes the difference, is that I hadn't got rid of the emotional drivers. So then down the track, when they re-emerged, I was back where I was before. So while it worked, it's not the same as what we're doing with FasterEFT, because when someone leaves here, if they're using chocolate, say for medication, they don't have that same interest in chocolate. They just aren't triggered to eat it. So when you start changing the foods that they're using, they lose weight without really trying. So it's a different and a more permanent change. So with the band, you can change for a while, but unless you get rid of the drivers, it isn't going to be permanent.
So this FasterEFT has been a very handy addition to your toolkit. As you say, you're now dealing with the emotional drivers, where it all began.
That's right.
And changing that.
Yeah. So the coping skills and why they're using those coping skills, what they're trying to get away from, what they're escaping, what they're not facing. So those things are what's really important. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what would your advice be to someone who is really deep in their stuff and they're taking more than a few sessions to change? What would you say what advice would you give to other practitioners and maybe people that are listening that have gone for different therapies and maybe also FasterEFT, and they're still holding on to their problem?
Well, I've been using FasterEFT now for, I think 2018 was the first online training I did with Robert. I did one of his online trainings, and he worked on me for something that I put up. I would say that, to be honest, I have a session every week because I pick up stuff. Also, more of my stuff comes up, as I'm working, and I know it is. So I keep a book of what I need to work on, so that I don't forget. If I don't write it down, I'll often forget. So I keep that record. I think probably I'll always be using FasterEFT. I don't think I'll ever get to the stage where I don't use it. But the reason I have the sessions is more to make sure that I don't overload with stuff. When I see somewhere between 18, 20 clients, maybe 24, and 30, 32 clients every week. So I pick up stuff. You just do. So I need to do that for myself to be in good health. So for my clients, some of them get that. They get straight away, so they might come and see me once a month just to stay, on top of their being their best self. So particularly people who have big jobs, they know it's like it's just good sets to come in once a month and clean up what has been transpiring or what they haven't been able to get rid of themselves. It just makes good sense. So some people will be coming for a long time because they get it. Others, if you were wanting to quit smoking, well, then I'd say probably it's going to take 2 to 4 hours and you should be fine no matter what. I'm a bit slow. Robert could probably do it in an hour, but, I'm still finding my way through something like that. But depends on what they've got, Doreen. There's no formula. Usually I'll have a fair idea how long it'll take me once I get the memories, but then there might be other stuff come up from that. So I don't know. I can't answer that. But if they were, say, wanting to be able to sleep, I would say probably I should be able to do that in 2 sessions. They should be sleeping. If I couldn't do it, I'd be really surprised if I couldn't do it in 2 sessions. Yeah.
You're a very quick worker.
I can't promise that, but I don't promise anything. I'm mindful of the fact that, but they'll know, and they'll know before they know before they leave that everything's changed.
Yes. Yeah. And as you kind of point to, is that it's not a cookie cutter process. each client is going to come with their set of memories and programs and how they do it and how it's all connected and what's keeping it in place, that benefit that sometimes they don't want to give it up because
That's right.
there's some benefit to
Yeah.
it. So yeah, fascinating work.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So you now have added FasterEFT to your kit. And
Yes.
and what would you say you are using in your sessions? Do you switch between the NLP, the FasterEFT, the hypnosis, or are you bringing it all together as we do in eutaptics?
I'm doing mainly eutaptics, but I am using hypnosis still for smoking.
Yeah.
Because people expect it and they like it, and I'm happy to do that. But I also use FasterEFT. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was very encouraging to hear from you. Your experience that you find it's all the essentials are there in eutaptics FasterEFT. So yeah, do you have, I was just wondering if you had any other bits of advice for people who may be struggling, like what are the first steps they should take?
In terms of struggling to learn it, do the course.
No, more people out there who are struggling with depression or phobias.
Well, yeah, I would say that this is the best process that I've come across. It's really thorough, and it makes change, and that's the key. I mean, when someone comes in and they're in, grief and loss, and they leave and they're fine, and they've left it behind, that's a win. I mean, that's a really big win. As somebody who's felt like that for a long time, and then suddenly they're happy and they know they don't need to go back there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. So, and sometimes you don't know. You send them off and say, I will send you some future pacing. I want you to rehearse that between now and next time we meet. And you don't know what they'll be at when they come for their next session. And some of them will ring me up and say, I don't need to come. I haven't had a drink, for 2 weeks. I won't be drinking again. I know I won't. And then I'll say, well, stay in touch and just let me know that everything's okay. You know where I am anyway. And they do. And sometimes they really surprise me at how quickly they were able to do something. There's no, you can't predict.
Yeah. What rewarding work. That is so rewarding when you see that happening for your clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also wondering if you could explain to people who are not familiar with FasterEFT the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, because I think so many people think that if they just work hard enough and they're strong enough and they've got willpower, they can change something, like they can lose weight or they can stop thinking about the event that hijacked their life.
I think most people who ring about weight know that it isn't in their conscious control, because they may make decisions, but the unconscious goes, no, this is what we do, and they can't stop themselves. The unconscious will just keep pushing them, and until they do it, they don't have any peace. So they know they're out of control. So to me, I always explain like this because it's important for people to understand how it works. So I usually use the two models of the world to explain life and how it impacts you, or how you interact with life, from either being responsible for whatever you create or being a victim of life. And I usually describe the unconscious as being like an enormous hard drive on a computer, and every memory, everything that's ever happened, every learning you've got is stored on that hard drive, and it's all filed like with like. So when something happens that's similar to something that's filed there, the unconscious goes, oh, that's like this. And so you get the reaction or responses of that learning. So it's like all your learnings, all your life learnings are stored on that hard drive. And then when something happens that isn't in alignment with what you want, or where you're responding to situations in a way that you don't want to, and you can't stop yourself from doing that, you understand that the only way to change that is unconsciously. And so you have to go and use a therapy that will do that unconscious work, that deep unconscious work. And when you get into the unconscious and you give it instruction, it will do what you ask it to do. And that's the bit that most people don't understand or believe. But once you've seen it and how it works, you go, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. So, yeah, that's the part that is really amazing.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. There's the therapy on steroids. Wonderful. Well, Roberta, that really gives anyone who's thinking about changing a problem hope, and possibly they'll be contacting you or a eutaptics FasterEFT therapist to get cracking on solving their problems. So I'd like to thank you so much, and also for, I guess, just in, giving existing practitioners another bit of an angle on the work we do. It keeps us all inspired. So thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom today.
Thank you for having me, and also thank you for the work that you've done with me. I always appreciate that.
That's my pleasure. Okay, I shall speak to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye for now.
Bye.